This problem asks us to solve the inequality and write our solution set using interval notation. To solve this inequality, what we'll do first is we'll subtract 19 from each side. So when we subtract 19 from the left-hand side, what we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. So we have negative 4x. The 19 subtracts out is less than or equal to negative 16. Now our next step is that we need to get the x value by itself, and so what we need to do is the opposite of negative 4 times x is dividing by negative 4. So we will divide each side by that negative 4. Now when we divide by a negative number, then it causes our inequality symbol to flip. So not because we divided, but because we divided by a negative number, this inequality symbol will flip around. So we have x is now greater than or equal to, and a negative 16 divided by a negative 4 is a positive 4. So this is all numbers bigger than or equal to 4. Now if we were to look at this on a number line, it didn't ask us to graph it on the number line, but it helps us get a visual of what our answer is. So if we were to look at this on a number line, I'll reference where my 0 is. We're going out to 4. Our answers have to be greater than 4, which would be these over here, or actually equal to 4, which is the number 4. So this line right here underneath the inequality tells us that we must include the 4. If the line was not there, then we would not include the 4, which in our symbols, not including means parentheses, including means bracket. So on our graph, because it includes that number 4, we will use a bracket going towards the numbers that our inequality tells us to, which is greater than 4. So it's greater than or equal to. The bracket comes from the fact that we have this line underneath, so we use a bracket instead of a parentheses. So when we look at our answer in interval notation, just like in our graph, we will give our answer by saying that we start with a bracket, and we have 4, and then we go to infinity. Infinity never has a bracket. It always has parentheses. Positive infinity will always be on the right. Negative infinity will always be on the left. Let's compare this problem to the problem that we just worked. So here's the problem we just worked. Now let's compare it looking at paying attention to the fact that the only change that's been made is that this line is no longer there. So looking at our next problem, again, we no longer have the line underneath the inequality. The process in which we solve this problem is still the same. We will still subtract 19 from each side. So we have negative 4x. Our 19 subtracts out is less than negative 16. We'll divide both sides by negative 4 the same way we did before. So we get x is now, again, since we're dividing by a negative number, not because we're dividing, but we're dividing by a negative number. So since we are doing that, we flip our inequality, so x is greater than positive 4. If we were to look at this on a number line, again, I'll give the reference of where 0 is. It's greater than 4, so it's not greater than or equal to, it's greater than 4. That does not mean that we start at 5, because there are numbers in between 4 and 5 that are greater than 4. So, for instance, 4.5 is greater than 4. 4.25 is greater than 4. 4.00000001, so really close to the number 4, is greater than 4. So the symbol that we use to indicate that it is really close to 4 would be a parenthesis. So it could be really close to 4. A bracket said it's actually the number 4. So greater than or equal to 4 would have had a bracket. but since this is just greater than, we have a parentheses and shade to the right. So our answer in interval notation would look the same. So we would have a parentheses, 4, comma, infinity. Infinity never has a bracket. So this one has parentheses on each side. Again, positive infinity will always be on the right. And then if we had negative infinity, we would have been shading the numbers to the left, and our answer would have that negative infinity on the left-hand side.